Alright, well, this one is going to need a little bit of explaining. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video where I bought something weird on eBay at like 1 AM. This right here is a cash register system that was used at Scholastic Book Fairs. I don't know about you guys, but this was always an exciting time back when I was in grade school. You know, you'd go down, you'd look at all the books for like 5 minutes, and then go over to like the cheat code booklets for video games and all the stuff that everybody really cared about. And then when you went to go check out, you would do so on a custom branded Scholastic POS system. Now, I actually volunteered at a Scholastic Book Fair one year, and we used this Windows CE based system, which was actually like the first time I'd ever heard of Windows CE. And I was trying to find that specific unit just to buy and make a video on because I thought it would be kind of cool, but I ended up getting this one instead. Which, instead of running Windows CE, it runs Android. Specifically, this is a PAX E500 POS system that has some custom Scholastic software on it for running the register, and the specifications are not anything to write home about, but it'll definitely get the job done for being a point-of-sale system. And this is the kit that you would have gotten if you were actually running a Scholastic Book Fair, along with a cash drawer. That I do not have, but it was the same color as the POS system itself, or at least close enough. And you were supposed to send all this stuff back to Scholastic after the book fair. Not sure how this one ended up on eBay, because I think that these are the registers that they still use for Scholastic Book Fairs today. So we'll go ahead and take this thing out of the box, and we'll explore what else that you would have gotten in here. And then we also have the power cord, of course, so we'll set that aside. We have the scan gun, which just plugs in over USB. And then we have a couple of receipt paper rolls in here, and a Scholastic branded polishing microfiber cloth, which is actually kind of neat to see that they actually took the effort to brand it, you know, with their logo. So yeah, we'll go ahead and set the little case here aside. So here it is in all of its glory. It's definitely got a nice weight to it. On the front here, you of course have the touchscreen. You've got a card reader up here. You have some indicator lights. You have this button, which I believe would have opened up the cash drawer. I'll have to double check that. There's not actually a manual in here, but there is like an online, you know, thing that you can refer to. And then this right here is the receipt printer. You got this button to open it up, which we will stock that. And we're going to see if we can actually like make a fake transaction. I've not really messed around with this a whole lot, but I did boot it up and, you know, confirmed that the software is still on here. So yeah, flipping it around to what the customer would see, we have another display, you know, which would show your like total and what items that you're purchasing. And then here it's just showing you which way the credit card goes in. We've got a totally real credit card here that we can use, and you see it, you know, that's how you do it. I don't know how many parents are just giving their kids their credit card to go to Scholastic Book Fairs. Back when I was in school, it was cash or check. That was it. Nowadays, they do have this e-wallet thing. I'm assuming that's what this camera down here is for, where you would fund your child's account online. You would give them a little piece of paper with like a barcode or a QR code on it, and then they would bring it to the book fair and scan it, probably with this camera here, and you know, that's how they would pay for everything. So yeah, you've got that, and then down here you've got all the hookups for the drawer, the scanner, and the power. There's also this screw here. I wanted just to remove this really quickly just to see what is behind here, because it looks like this was maybe meant to be removed by the customer. It's just this one single screw. And oh yeah, you can see in here we've got, this is like where all the connections, I guess this is just an extension board basically. And we also have HDMI. That's kind of cool. So you can hook this up to an external display, I guess. So you've got your actual power connection here. There's an audio jack. You have this USB cable, which just runs down here to plug in the scanner. And then over here you've got network. You actually have two different Ethernet jacks. So this is LAN A, which just runs down here. I'm assuming maybe on the bottom there's an Ethernet connection. Yeah, right down here. So that's how you would hook this up over Ethernet if you wanted to. And then you've got this connector, which runs to the cash drawer. So yeah, that's kind of neat. I had not taken that off before, and we'll just go ahead and put it back on. Now, of course, the big question is, can we actually get into the Scholastic software on this thing to, you know, make some fake transactions? Well, that's what we're going to do. And then, of course, towards the end of the video, I mean, this thing runs Android. We're going to mess around and just throw some other Android apps on it. Maybe an emulator? Maybe try to run Windows or Half-Life? Who knows? We'll see. Alright, so here it is booting up. Why don't we go ahead and use our Scholastic microfiber cloth just to wipe down the screen a little bit. One thing I forgot to mention, there is a front-facing camera as well that could be used for something. And it boots up to the Scholastic POS program, and it's immediately telling us that there is no paper in the printer. This also talks to you, by the way, when you open this.
The printer cover is open.
Yeah, so we're going to load the paper in a minute here, and we'll just close this for now and just ignore this.
Paper.
And then it... That's going to get pretty annoying. Now, I did read, there is, you know, it comes up to this pin screen here, and there's also a username and password that you can enter in. There is somebody's name in here, which is not the default one. So this might have actually been used before at a Scholastic Book Fair and then returned to Scholastic, or maybe they just sold it on eBay. I don't know. But we're going to try the default pin, which is just 99999, and that was it. Okay. So this just confirms what I was talking about. This was used at a book fair, or maybe it was set up to be used at one, because there's a school name here. This was used at a middle school. There's a fair ID, a chairperson's name, and then you got your tax information over here. What happens if we say, no, this is not correct? Okay, yeah, terminal is currently offline. That's just notifying us. We've not connected this to the internet yet. Okay, now it's giving us a number. Please contact customer care to obtain your one-time password. What happens if we go back and just say, yes, this is correct? Yes, we are sure it's correct. And it gives us fair info, I guess just confirming everything. Number of receipts to print. So we can print, okay, we can print 3 receipts. But let's just put in a roll of the receipt paper here. So we'll just put that in, and then I think that's all you do. And yep, that just cut it for us. So we'll say done. And okay. So I think, you know, maybe that was like for every transaction, you know, how many receipts do you want to print? You could have 1 for the customer, 1 for the school, 1 for somebody else. But yeah, so can we go like to history here? Does it like, was this actually used? Okay, no sales found. So there's no information here. Let's go to sales, and you know, can we search, like, does it have some items in here? It looks like it does. We have some gift certificates, we have some erasers. Okay, other non-book items. We got the hand pointers, the spooky hand pointers, deep ink stickers, so we just added that. I didn't really intend to do that, but we're just going to roll with it. You got your pencils and your pens here. And then you have miscellaneous entry for just entering in, like, you know, let's say a $5 item. This is actually really cool already. I didn't think there was going to be, like, actual item info and stuff on here. So, yeah, again, we don't have anything under completed. And then you can go to sale info to, okay, so, yeah, volunteer, parent, student, teacher, school. I guess for, like... Yeah, like, you know, if the school was buying stuff, if a volunteer was buying stuff, okay. And then under discount, you can add, there's just a manual entry screen here for that. So let's go to checkout, and okay, that would bring you to the sale info anyway, and then I guess discount too is going to come up. No, it's just going to go to the all for books donation. Would you like to round up the total? Sure, we'll round up 1 cent. And then, okay, $6 balance due. And then here's all your payment methods. So you have Scholastic dollars, which I guess cannot be used with the all for books rounding up thing. But here's the e-wallet down here, and then you would pay that way. You've got gift certificates, you can use a purchase order. We're just going to go with cash, and then we'll just do exact. So change will be $0, finish, and it gave us a register printer error. Now, what does this button do down here? I know you guys can't see, but okay, that, yeah, I thought that was the, like, drawer button to open the cash drawer. It's actually just the feed paper button. So for some reason, it gave us an error when trying to print the receipt. So why don't we try this again? We'll go to, okay, well, there's our completed transaction. Can we just print a receipt for this? Print receipt. And it failed again. So this is interesting. When you try to print the receipt, you see it comes out like a little bit, and then it complains about battery saver being on. But when you turn it off, which I just clearly tapped that there, it doesn't look like it actually turns it off. So Even though, like, we're not on a battery, it's complaining about battery saver, and that, I guess, is the reason why it's not printing properly. I also don't have this thing on the network right now, which I was trying to keep it offline just to see what it would give us access to, but we can go into settings here, and first of all, let me look for this battery saver thing. So, like, okay, it's not here under battery. I get, maybe there is a battery in here. Because, yeah, 7% charging on AC. Okay, so maybe, yeah, maybe it has a battery in here. But I'm trying to look for this battery saver setting. Let's just do a search. It's off. So, what? Like, okay, it's turned off. We can't even turn it on. Look at that, it just immediately goes off. Authentication error, please log in with username and password. Okay, so it looks like that there is a username and password that you had to enter. Yeah, there it comes up again, authentication error. So, yeah, being online is not going to change anything. But just for the heck of it, why don't we try another transaction here? Let's go and grab ping pong set eraser, some spooky hand pointers, and some regular hand pointers. And then we're going to go to cash, we're going to go to exact, finish, and yeah, it does not print the receipt. So that sucks. Also, by the way, if you were wondering, here's how the customer screen looks. And you know, if I were to go in here and make a transaction, you see here it will start adding up the various things that we get on here. So we can just tap a whole bunch of stuff here and oh, well, okay, it's just taking a little while for it to process. So here you go. Yeah, that's a nice sized order right there. I also just realized I haven't used the scanner gun yet, and if you notice, there's not even a book category on here. There is just the search for items thing, but all of these are just, you know, little things that may not even have a barcode on them, like the erasers and the pencils and the pens. The books you would just have to scan with this, and presumably they would show up in here. Like if I try to scan this barcode on the front of the register, you see it just says item not found, so it would be, you know, if that was like a valid item, it would just add that to your total over here. But we'll go ahead and just cancel this out and just, yeah, cancel the sale and then go back. But, you know, it's neat that we can explore the POS system a little bit and, you know, see how that you would have run a Scholastic Book Fair from this application. There's also some training stuff in here. Okay, it's actually a training mode, so there will be limited functionality that's otherwise available during normal operation. So you can't do live transactions, transactions will not be saved, credit card processing is disabled, cash storage is disabled. I wonder if we can go in here and actually process a transaction and it will print a receipt out maybe. Let's see. So we'll go to erasers and we'll grab one of these. We'll go and get a mega pointer, sure. And let's just go to checkout, confirm checkout. We'll do the roundup and then we'll just do exact cash, finish. And it still does not print. But it gave us a battery warning that time. I still don't know what it's talking about with the battery because we're plugged in to AC power. Like, why is it complaining about the battery? Well, there's definitely a battery in this thing because I just disconnected it from power. It comes up immediately with that same battery warning. Let's try to connect it to power and then, oh, there we go. Look at that. Okay, that actually worked. So the printer's definitely kind of messed up. Maybe there's a way to calibrate it, but let's just try that again. No, it's gonna do the same thing. So let me go into settings here. And is there a way to configure the printer like from within this application? Let's go to more, register settings. Okay, we need the one-time password. By the way, I did notice in the settings application there is a printing option in here, but you see it just says no services installed. So this is managed through the Scholastic application, or at least one of these, because there are a couple other programs on here. We've got the connectivity tool, which, you know, it just keeps coming up and letting us know that it's not able to connect to the Scholastic services, and then it just tries again after like 8 minutes. So there's no actual window for that, you know, it just turns the service on. You have this POS link demo program, which is just, okay, you got a whole bunch of fields here. Payment, manage, batch, report. Yeah, this kind of looks like it will display a bunch of raw data about the transaction. So if you click, what happens when you say start to process? Please wait while paying. And yeah, this starts to run a transaction because on the customer-facing display, it's, you know, telling you to insert your card right now. We've got Pack Store, which is, I mean, maybe this is like the just generic POS program that comes with all the PAX registers. You see there is a login prompt here, which it will just time out. I did disconnect this from the internet again, so we're back offline. And I mean, I'm not going to have like a login for that anyways. And then right here is a proxy, PAX inject proxy, okay. And then you have PDM, payment device manager. Okay, so this is, I guess, going to give us information about the device. We can go to PDM info. I wonder if we can manage the printer from here. Please enter the password. Is that just going to be the 999999? Password error. Oh, I figured it out. It was a different default password that I just looked up. So it is 9876. That gets us in here. So we have diagnostic logs, boot install switch, key download mode, nothing about the printer. So that's not really useful to us. We have upgrade history, release notes, about PDM. So there's the version number, upgrade time. This has a date of 3/8/2022. Okay. Is there anything like about the printer? I mean, I'd love to see if we can configure that. Maybe there's nothing that we can do. It could just be like a hardware thing. But I do have the paper put in here correctly. So that's not the problem. It should be working. You can do a local upgrade, a key download, do a remote upgrade, got some authorization stuff there. And then, again, we have the Scholastic connectivity stuff. So those are all of the default programs that come on this thing. I am curious, let's go into settings and see what Android version this is. This is Android 6.0.1. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's Android Marshmallow. Jeez. You've probably already figured it out, but notably, one of the applications missing from here is the Google Play Store, so we can't just go on and like download additional applications. Do we have any widgets? We have Contacts, which we don't even have the Contacts app on here, and then we have the gallery. What do we have for wallpapers? Alright, well, it looks like we've got a few different wallpapers, well, more than a few in here. We have a couple animated ones too, or the live wallpapers. So we could set that. Why don't we go with this one, because that one looks kind of cool, so we'll set that as the wallpaper. And I think that brings us to the point in the video where we can mess around with this thing a little bit and try and sideload some stuff onto it, because we definitely took a good look at the included POS software. So I'm going to go in here to the About information, and we're going to tap on the build number a bunch of times to, oh, you are not debugging and have no access to developer mode. What? Okay, well, we've made it to that point in the video where I gotta go and explain a whole bunch of stuff because, yeah, nothing ever is just as simple as it seems on this channel. So I went ahead and looked up that exact phrase that we saw before. And first of all, a huge shout out to Google's AI for coming up with this. I understand your prompt and I can confirm that I am a large language model and do not possess capabilities such as debugging code or accessing specific developer modes. Cool, thanks. I wasn't asking for any of that, but alright. I did, as you can see, I put this phrase in quotation marks so that it only searches for this specific phrase. And the funny thing about it is all of the results, well, the very few results that we have, correspond to these PAX devices. So there's a post on Reddit here. This is the same post, just in a different language, and then we have a post on the XDA forums. This post over on Reddit is, you see it's not the same device that we are using here, but it is still a PAX POS system. Somebody else got one of these and they were trying to sideload some APKs on it and got that exact same error when trying to enable the developer mode. And the other thing is, unknown sources is blurred out on here. Also, by the way, the HDMI out works totally fine, so here we are. And you can see that, yeah, unknown sources, although, like, it shows it as on, but I'm pretty sure that it's off, actually, because as you'll see in a moment when we try to install an APK, it will just fail. But anyways, between these two posts, there was a good effort put in to try to get, you know, these devices into developer mode and to run some side-loaded applications on it. And ultimately, from what I can tell, they were not successful, because it seems that this device and these PAX devices in general actually run a specialized version of Android called PayDroid. So you see right here, under the build number and the custom build number, this is E500 PayDroid 6.0.1. This is essentially a specialized version of Android that seems to have been created for these PAX devices, and because these devices are processing sensitive payment data, they've made it more locked down, and they don't allow you to run, unauthorized side-loaded applications on it, including even Google Play services, because you saw we don't have Google Play on here, and trying to install that, if I go into the file browser, because I was able to plug this into a computer and copy over this APK. When we go ahead and run it, it'll come up with the installer and say, do you want to install? And we'll say yes, but it will eventually just come up with an error message and say that you are not authorized to do this. So there it is. The organization signature verification failed, and then there's the Scholastic Connectivity Manager coming up once again. But yeah, and this is the exact same thing that these people experienced in this post. I think it was in the XDA post here. This person goes into a whole detailed list of everything that he tried. Now, he had a different device. This is a PAX A920, which is actually the exact same model that this person in the Reddit post has. Unfortunately, the account has been deleted, so we can't tell if it's the same person. This very well could be, because this was January 24th, 22, and this was posted, okay, March 4th, 2024, so these could be two different people. But anyways, this person tried to plug into their computer. They also tried to copy over some APKs like we just did, couldn't get those to install, and they even used ADB to try and enable the development settings that way and to install some applications over ADB like we did in the last video on that Kobe tablet. And long story short, I did those things too. It wasn't successful. And on this Reddit post here, somebody basically said there very well might be a way of doing this. And apparently there's an exploit for at least some of these PAX devices. And it sounds like people were just recommending, see if you can root the thing. Now that's definitely outside of my area of expertise. So it's going to take somebody, more experienced than me to, see if we could actually get root access on this device. But one thing that I found very interesting is when I tried to use ADB with this thing, it initially didn't work. I mean, I could copy files over to it like you saw, so it was, making a successful USB connection, but ADB would not recognize that a device was connected. So I thought, okay, well, maybe that's because it has to be in developer mode, because if you remember from that other video on the Kobe tablet, we had to keep switching back and forth between the USB debugging mode and the file transfer mode when we wanted to transfer files on and off of the tablet. So I thought, okay, well, we can't get into the USB debugging mode because we can't enable developer options to go in there and enable that setting. And if you go up here and you tap on the little USB thing that shows up in the notification center, the only options are charging, file transfer, photo transfer, and MIDI. So I thought, okay, maybe we were out of luck and we just can't use ADB, but I was wondering why this person over here with this other device seems to have been able to do it just fine. Well, then I noticed in this Reddit post, somebody down here suggested using this tool over on the Aaron Archive, and it's called PayDroid Tool. Now, there's two versions of this on the Aaron Archive. There's 1.06 and 1.07. And this is what it looks like when you download it. Now, it also came with a driver that I installed, and that allowed this program to see the PAX device that we have connected. So you see under App Program, these are all of the programs on the device. So we have the Scholastic Connectivity Manager, and then you can also, load like a local APK and copy it over to here. And then there's also a firmware info thing, so we can click on change device, and so there it is, it's recognized it. But then it asks you for this, please log in with info account, which I don't have. But it looks like this could be used to upgrade the firmware. Now, also included in this archive is paxadb.exe, which appears to be a specialized version of the Android debug bridge for use with this custom version of Android. At least that's what I currently think, because sure enough, if you use this version of ADB and try to list your devices, it will recognize it right here. And even after installing the driver that comes with this package, I still can't get the regular version of ADB to detect this device. So you see it says list of devices attached, there's nothing. We go back to the PAX ADB tool and it displays it just fine. So I was able to try and use this. I think I've still got the command in here, or no, I guess I closed out of it. I was able to use this to run pax_adb install, and then I just called it google.apk. This is the exact same APK that we just tried to install on the device locally. and it will run the command and try to install it, but it will just error out with the same signature verification failure that we got right here. So this is definitely progress. I mean, we're able to make an ADB connection with the device, but we just can't really do anything with it. And like I said, I did go through and run all of these commands, of course, making sure to put PAX underscore before the ADB in, you know, the commands that this person was running here. And I wasn't able to get developer options working. I wasn't able to install applications. So yeah, this is definitely something that would maybe be interesting to revisit in a future video. And yeah, there it is right there, just failed out. I'm definitely curious to hear from anybody out there, if there is anybody who has one of these PAX devices and has successfully been able to root it or install just a couple of side-loaded applications. But from what I've been able to tell from these couple of posts, it sounds like you're going to need to have root access or be able to install a custom ROM on this thing to be able to run anything aside from just the handful of applications that already come pre-installed with it. So we'll see if maybe we can revisit this in a future episode. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say, or if you'd even be interested in that. Be sure to let me know down in the comments below. But there you have it. That is a look at the custom Scholastic Book Fair version of this PAX payment system Android thing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely be sure to give it a thumbs up, get subscribed, maybe consider becoming a patron or a channel member to get early access to these videos before anybody else. But either way, I just want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.